seniors and just the overall well-being of our school district. And you guys do a great job of that and allow me to do my job. So I greatly appreciate you and just the service that you give back to our community, because it is a low-paying volunteer job, but we greatly appreciate all.
We got dinner today.
Oh, you did get dinner,
Yeah,
get snacks,
we got
it's the
snacks.
little things, it's the little things, but we appreciate you guys choosing to serve on our school board for Oak Grove, so thank you. Thank you. All right, well, we're gonna start with, we have Caitlin from Children's Mercy Hospital, and with our school nurses here to talk about Project Adam. Hello.
Hi, where do you want me to go?
Right in front of us. Right. I know it's busy. It's full today.
How about I stand over here?
Okay.
So my name's Caitlin. I'm a nurse at Children's Mercy. Thank you for having me. I have the honor of working with these four ladies, maybe about for a year or so. And Project Adam is a national program that comes into schools and helps schools be prepared for cardiac arrest. So in my world, we start every meeting by asking where's the nearest AED. And for you guys, that's right out here inside the store, which is really fantastic. But what cardiac arrest and Project Adam does is it comes into schools to help you guys be prepared. And each of these four ladies have developed a team at their school, and they practice with their team about how to respond to a cardiac arrest. So they have mock scenarios, and they run through a simulation and practice what they would do if a cardiac arrest were to happen. So cardiac arrest is very rare, but it happens very suddenly, and there's no warning sign. So the best thing you can do is be prepared. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's when. And studies have shown that schools who have these plans in place and these teams, their survival rate of a cardiac arrest increases from 10% to 70%. So that's a really powerful number. And I am thankful for you guys for leading your teams and for wanting to do this. In the state of Missouri, it's not allowed to do this, but it will be coming likely this next session. And then you guys are already ahead of the ball. So just want to congratulate these nurses. I do have banners.
Pull it out, show us.
Okay. So these banners belong to each school. You can display them proudly. You can put them wherever you want. But each school gets their own banner to hang up, and it just announces you guys as a Heart Safe school. And every year when you guys renew, you'll get your renewal sticker that you'll put on there. And 1 year, I'm hoping that I go to schools and there's just hearts all over. So. But if you guys want, you each have one, so kind of awkward to hold them. Maybe we should just hold one.
Yeah.
I have banners everywhere. I'm sure that's a really good photo. Which one do you guys want to hold?
That's this one.
Okay.
That's awesome of you nursing staff on top of everything else you guys do.
Absolutely.
That's
Where are we
that's great.
Over here. Over here.
Okay.
Now they're looking at you.
Perfect. Yes, this was a volunteer thing, and everybody who's on the team are your teachers, your staff members, your administrators, and they're all volunteering to do this. But it really is empowering people to be brave enough to do something to help. So,
Fantastic.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, Coach Sharks, we've got some students
Awesome,
to
yes.
recognize.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about the great things that are happening at Oak Grove High School. And starting off with our esports kids, led by Miles Hodgson, our first year head coach in esports. He's doing a phenomenal job. Really happy with what he's done. It's great to have somebody so passionate about the sport. Kids just latch on to it and take off from there. And Hannah Gieske is Gisecki, 3 syllables, right? Okay, she was here last year as a middle school coach, and she's helping him also. We'll start with James Ross. James competed on both the fall SSBU solos team and the Mario Kart team. He's been a key competitor for us, and I see him stepping into a leadership role next year and helping guide our team back to state. Great job, James Ross. Ellis Bowen joined the team for Mario Kart and is now part of the SSBU cruise team. Throughout the season, he's been a steady voice, helping the team stay focused and making key adjustments to improve our performance. Good job, Ellis. And John Freeman is the youngest member of our team, already finding success in the middle school on the Pokemon Unite team and making it to state in the fall with 3 more years ahead. He has a bright future in our program. Great job, guys, and thanks for representing Oak Grove High School. Thank you. Awesome. And now we'll talk a little bit of our state medalists for wrestling. We qualified 7 this year to go to state, which is more than last year, which is great. And we had 4 state medalists down there. Really proud of them. Like many of our students, they're involved in lots of things, okay? So the 2 guys that I'm going to talk about tonight are actually at a wrestling practice. Go figure, that's why they're state medalists, they're practicing. And one of our female state medalists is actually at a volleyball practice. Go figure. She's an awesome volleyball player too. And then and Lauren is at another wrestling practice. But I want to talk about each one of those kids and the staff that put so much time into those kids. So these programs are led by their coaches. Mike Phillips for our girls. He is actually at a wrestling practice right now and apologizes for not being here. And on the boys side, Coach Jamie Scully right here. And also all the devoted assistants, okay? Coach Pettit, Coach Cavadas, Coach Kemp, Coach Rainey, Coach Butler. Coach Butler's here somewhere. Where's she at? There she is. And Coach Mitchell is here as well. They put so much time into these kids. We had a couple volunteer assistants, Jesse Harris, who helps with our Youth Mat Club, who does a lot for our kids, building our programs up. And then JC Alexander also helped this season with our program in a volunteer capacity. So let's start with the first one, which is Cale Martin. Cale Martin finished with a record of 40-6. He was a district champion, and he placed 6th at state at 106 pounds. So it was his first time there, and he was a state medalist. So that's awesome. Second one is Perry Morgan. Perry Morgan finished with a record of 41-4. He was also a district champion. He was the 3rd place finisher at state at 113. On the girls' side, Lauren Phillips finished with a record of 50-6, and she earned her 150th career win this season. She's a 3-time state qualifier and a 3-time state medalist, and she earned a 3rd place finish at state this year. And the last one is Eva Alexander. She finished with a record of 32-9. She's also she's a 2-time state qualifier and 2-time state medalist, earning 4th place at state this year. All these athletes and all these students competed at the highest level. Making it to state is an accomplishment in itself, just by itself. But obviously, medaling is super impressive. So, really, really proud of you guys and all you coaches. So, thank you for looking really forward to the future and all those that return to our programs, and hopefully leading us back to some of these places and bringing home more medals. So, thanks again, guys, for being here, and go Panthers.
You're more than welcome to stay if you want to learn more about how school boards do things, but don't feel like you have to stay there.
You're welcome to go enjoy the 72-degree temperature.
Thank you all for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome. Next up is the consent agenda. I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
I will make that motion.
Jeff?
I'll
More
second.
recognitions.
Is there?
No?
Middle school.
They're presenting later.
Ms. Brown? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Wasn't on the list.
Yep.
So who's the second? Sorry. Terry, thank you. Yes. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? That's everyone. Next, we have an approval of the 2024D policy update.
Yep, so this is our 3rd read over this policy, 2024 policy update. And again, as we talked last month, a lot of them, this time I clicked the overview, a lot of them have to do just changing some language and some verbiage due to Senate Bill 727 that was passed last June. Most of it involving just some of that language, a little bit about school boards, and if you live in Jackson County, the school calendar. We approved our new calendar last year, but it does talk about putting calendar on a ballot issue if you're going to go less than that 169. So you can look through those and see the difference in the timing, or the wording in some of those policies. They scratch out what words they're taking out and what they're adding to meet that new legislation.
Questions, comments? Motion for approval of 2024D policy.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Jim. Is there a second?
I will second it.
Thank you, Jeff. Motion and a second. All in favor? That's everyone. Next might be why some people are here,
Maybe?
maybe?
Oh, it's not that?
We had a,
What's that?
It wasn't for the policy changes?
Most of the people.
yeah, I think it's a policy.
Most of the
Yeah.
policy, no.
Big news.
Yep.
We have a presentation
Approval, yep. Yeah.
of our out-of-state band trip.
Out of state, Mr. Long and
I got to hear about this the other night.
Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
in a very entertaining way, I mean.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like that?
I like that.
I
Gave
can't
the
take credit for all that.
Exciting.
A lot of that was Holly, Beth, and our Band Booster president and her husband, Corey Ross, who, you know, like he sent that idea in an email, and then I had to he had to explain it to me. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And so I
It is.
can't take
It
credit
is
for
awesome.
that. But yes, before we get to that, we do want to say thank you to the school board and the admin, because the last time we were at a school board meeting was this summer, and it was for the purchase of new instruments, a 5-year plan, and we did get that first shipment in, and guys, that's been just huge. It's been so impactful for our students, and so we've seen that at both ends. You know, the high high school end of life, as well as our beginners, that kids that maybe can't be in band. So I just want to thank the board for that. And our admin team, and I also want to say thanks for the work that you guys are doing on the levy that's coming up. As a teacher, I'm very appreciative of that, and as a parent, oh my gosh, that's huge. And so, the admin team has been in our buildings several times. We've talked about it a lot at the Superintendent's Advisory Committee. So the word is out there. And then just last night, Mrs. Hampton was at our Band Booster meeting and was just spreading the word of that. And it's appreciated. So thank you guys for the work that you guys are doing. But yeah, for the reason that we're here, the band has been invited, and we've accepted that invitation to be in the Chicago Thanksgiving Day Parade. So it's like Macy's, but it's Macy's in a smaller city. And this is going to be a first for Oak Grove. We've traveled several times, 7 times I think, starting in 1999, Colorado Springs. I wasn't here at that time, but I was here for trip number 2 to Dallas. And it's been kind of on a rotation, though we tried to flip that rotation. We wanted to do this very trip the year of the shutdown. And so, 2020, we announced, we're like, hey, we're doing this Thanksgiving parade, and then we all know what happened after that. And so we had to adjust our plans. We still did travel that year, but it was in the spring. It was still to Chicago, but it was more of a tour where we hit some sites in Chicago, came back and performed in St. Louis, and then came home. So this is going to be the first time that the marching band has traveled, out of state, and we're really pumped about that. The kids are super excited about it. So so that's what's going on with us. We don't have everything nailed down yet. So our list of activities that we're going to kind of choose from is the Shedd Aquarium is on that list. We've done the Wrigley's Field Museum, or the Wrigley's Field experience in the past, and that's a really fun one for the kids to go to. Millennium Park might be a really cool stop for us to go, and at that time there could be some ice skating that takes place, which I think would be really neat. The Field Museum, the Griffin Museum, the Willis Tower Sky Deck are all on our list, and we're going to try to book that out instead of using our company. Our travel company does take care of our hotel, and the name of that company is World Strides Heritage, and they would do everything for us. But the sticker price for the kids is pretty staggering. And I think we would price out some of the kids in our program, and we would rather us do a lot of that footwork with the help of Bev Carlson and our boosters. And if we can bring that sticker price down, we're aiming for a price, but we're trying to figure out exactly what's going to all entail that. So we're not ready to release that information, but we will have it broken down into 3 installments. The first one's going to be due in May, and each installment will have optional fundraisers to help kids in need. So.
And is your actual competition, are you doing a field competition or just the parade?
It'll be just the parade itself, yeah. So a performance and, televised live on TV, which, the kids are like, I'll be on TV, and I'm like, yeah. So we're pretty excited about that.
So marching band, at least on street parade, will practice will last a little longer.
Yeah, I think you're going to hear us deep into November, and I think Coach is going to make us be playing anyway because I think the season's going to extend, right? Is that
Plan on it.
see? There we go. That's what we're playing on. So it should work out. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
So you're gonna have to haul your trailer.
I hope that we can fit all the marching drums underneath those Coach buses, but that is to be determined. Yeah, yeah. Are you volunteering to pull the trailer?
No. I've been on one of these. I still have not recovered from the loss of sleep. I didn't
Yes.
sleep for 48 hours.
Yep, I know.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
you
you-
did because you don't have a cell phone.
That's right.
Yes, let's all be honest.
I slept.
You slept through the whole thing. You walk in at 6:30 in the morning, bright-eyed, smell great, and we're like, whoa, we're ready for the day. And I'm like, I have not been to bed. I've been to the hospital with a kid. And you just walked up. Yes. But I have gotten over it. I have gotten over it. It
I
does
can
not
tell. I
bother
can
me.
tell.
That
Yeah.
doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. 2 more weeks of therapy.
Any other
Great
questions?
event for kids, though.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
good. And thank you for being our head chaperone that year. You and your wife were
Well,
an
and
awesome
Nathan,
team.
Nathan shared a story at the Band Booster Club meeting the other night about being on his first trip and trying to figure out why are we doing all this work, what's going on until they drove out. You tell it.
Yeah, because Boonville never traveled big like this, and that's where I'm from. And so when I got hired, Beth was just taking her second trip down to Dallas, and I was like, I don't see that. It's so much work. I don't see the payout. And she's like, you will once we get on the road. And we got on the road, and we were crossing the state line, and I got on the microphone of the Coach buses, and I said, hey, we're crossing the state line, and kid just two rows back said, this is my first time out of state. And I thought he was joking. And he wasn't, and so, it's stuff like that, those experiences that the kids, truly are going to have for the first time with us. And so it's pretty cool. It's pretty
How
fun.
long is the parade, do you know?
How long was what?
How long is the parade?
The parade itself is less than a mile. I think it's
less
like,
than a mile long.
but just barely. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
just
it's like 0.8.
Yeah.
But we have to get to the performance site, from, if they put us up in the same hotel that I think that they're going to use, it'll be the Hilton. And so you have to get to the spot, march it, and then walk all the way back. So I think you're looking at probably 3 miles on the feet once it's all done, and in November in Chicago. So I think that it's going to be cold and chilly, but they're going to be making lifetime memories out of it.
And they'll be in full uniforms, so it's
That's right.
It's gonna be
That's
nice
right.
and toasty.
Keep it
Yeah. So we're excited about it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Any other
Thank
questions?
you for having us.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys for all that you guys are
Thank
doing.
you.
Need a motion and a second to approve the out-of-state band trip as presented.
All motion. I will second that.
Tracy, thank you, Jeff. Any other questions or comments? Have a motion and a second. All in favor? That's everyone. Next we have Ag Science.
We do. Come on up, Jamie. So I want to toot her horn just a little bit. I know she hates this, but I had received the DESI checklist of what all you have to do to get a new program approved and sent it to Jamie. And I said, start working on some of these things. I'll do some of these pieces. We'll work together. We'll get this done. And she sends back, and it's pretty much all done. And it's daunting. It's quite a bit. She had to form a committee, and they had a task force meeting. They had to come up with goals. They had to have meetings and with meeting notes. She had to get letters of sponsorship from people in the industry. And so there was a lot of work that went into it on her part. So greatly appreciative of that. But I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about your program.
We have an application now that I was, we're going to see if we can have the approval to go ahead and submit that to DESI. So we can't ask for anything else until that happens. But it's, kind of a 3-prong approach with that, with the Ag Science program is we have it at the high school, and then we also have an FFA chapter, and then we also, when it starts to grow, we'll have the supervised agricultural experiences for the kids where they create a project, and that could be working somewhere or raising chickens or something like that. And so that's where that part of having that advisory committee and having community involvement was kind of a key component with that. And since it was just kind of getting started and I knew the time was, I just kind of reached out with some people that I knew was really on board with having the program. But as it continues to grow and stuff like that, then I'm sure that advisory committee can grow and expand and have lots more information. I just feel like I I just ask for forgiveness all the time because I start with something and they're like, that's not how you do it. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I don't know how to do this. I'm new here. But that's as far I've reached out to the people, to start the FFA chapter, but they basically said,
This is phase one.
Yeah.
So we do have to get the program approved through DESE to add a new program, and then she'd outline the courses that kids would take, what those course numbers were, around estimated student surveys of interest, how many would be in year one, what courses we would offer year two, what courses would we offer year three. So there was a big plan in order to present this to DESE. And then once we send that off to DESE and our program's approved, then she can start FFA chapter. But they have to have a DESE program, approved program. Also, once we have a DESE approved program, we are then eligible for FE4 funds, which is DESE's 50-50 match. So in the future, as we need equipment, as we need greenhouse, updates to greenhouse, any of those types of big price tag items, we can write grants for those through DESE under that CTE program for 50-50 funding. And some of it, computer-wise, technology-wise, can be 75-25. For funding. So great opportunities, and just excited to provide this for our students. So.
I think I'm a member of the Jackson County Farm Bureau, and primarily for legislative cooperation and stuff, but they were shocked that we didn't have an ag program. And I think as you're learning through this, just for experiences for some of our kids who think a farm is where you go to get your medications, it'll be a tremendous opportunity for kids, and the ag industry is just exploding, so it'll be awesome.
and we got some recommendation letters from the CEO of MFA, just was on board. We have some community, their kids are little now, but they're going to be coming to the Oak Grove School District, and their parents were really readily available, and Farm Bureau too, we've reached out to them as well, and all kinds of places to see if we had any help and support, and so many people are like, yep, tell me what you need. So it wasn't a fight at all.
Fantastic.
Great opportunity.
Thank you for spearheading that.
Yes, absolutely.
Of course.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the Ag Science CTE program as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Jim. Motion and a second. Any other questions, comments? All in favor? That's everyone? Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Discussion items.
Yep. So for our academic focus tonight, we've got Ms. McConville and some exciting students from middle school who are going to share some things.
Yes, I'm going to take our academic focus a little out of our school day, what we think of traditional school, and talk about some of the things we do after school, because I firmly believe, maybe especially at the middle school level, that is as impactful, if not more, sometimes for our kids. And our learning surely does extend beyond the school day. So we offer a lot of different programs. I brought one tonight. This one is particularly fun. They do a lot of really neat things. They meet on Wednesdays every week, but this is just one of many. So we have a creative writing club, we have a STEM program, we have, we're looking at starting a drama program, and our goal is to expand what we offer. So beyond athletics, but more in the way of clubs and activities. So I'm going to turn it over, because I don't think you want to hear me talk about it. I think you want to hear our teachers and our students talk about it. So our yarn club is here for you tonight.
Hi, thank you so much for having us tonight. My name is Hannah Giesecke. You got said
Sorry.
earlier.
I don't think anyone have got it right.
No,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
still get it. It's
I
fine.
butchered it several times.
As we
It
do.
wasn't my choice.
True.
I'm the middle school librarian. I also sponsor yearbook. I'm in esports and obviously Yarn Club. This is Nancy O'Keefe over here, another Yarn Club sponsor. She's our computer teacher and Stugo sponsor. A couple years ago, some students asked to start a crochet club, and so we gave it a go. Our first meeting had 6 kids. We now have over 30, which has been really, really fun. We do meet every Wednesday after school. It's kind of a loosely structured time where kids can get one-on-one help with their projects. Most of our kids come with little to no knowledge. We offer a lot of yarn and different hooks, so they don't have to put in a lot of money of themselves before they know that they like that. We've had a lot of community support. We've had people donate over 200 skeins of yarn. We've had over 20 sets of hooks donated, which has been great to be able to send that home for kids to keep going. Our main goal for this is just to provide a safe space for kids to bond over non-academic and non-athletic skills. And it's been absolutely amazing to see all their friendships grow. And so I'm going to pass it over to a couple of our kids. You want to say something?
So Yarn Club is like really fun because like after school you get to like hang out with your friends and just like chill out. It's like really good vibes there. It's also really fun because you get to make stuff. I made this little octopus. Yeah.
Very nice. I love it.
Is it camo? Is it camo octopus?
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Very nice.
Hello, my name is Ellen McGee. I would just like to say that in Yarn Club you learn a lot from people around you, and you get to learn how to do all sorts of things. It is the best place to be after school because it can relax your brain. It really does help with a very intense, sometimes, school day. And it's just the best place to be after school.
I love that. And I brought 2 more note cards from our kids that couldn't be here. One of them was Yarn Club is a happy place from a 6th grader. And then another one, Yarn Club is a really chaotic but really calm and fun. You get to yarn, talk to friends, hang out, etc. It is so fun. Thank you so much for letting us be here. And as we say in club, always be yarning.
I might need to come learn. I set a goal.
I don't remember the first student introducing herself.
She did not.
Yeah, she does.
Want to come back?
I'm not gonna do that to her.
She's already out. You're gonna make her turn red.
I didn't know how she got here.
Well, that's why she didn't introduce herself.
She didn't drive yet. I mean, I'm better driver than I am. But.
Tax levy discussion, so we want to make sure everybody's aware, on March 25th at 6 p.m., we're going to have our community night. We'll have an update from our bond construction. We'll have our 3 school board candidates and a little information on our tax levy. We themed it any way you slice it. We love our schools, so we'll have pizza. So trying to get that word out, and want to make sure that if you guys, I know Keith's out of town traveling then, but if you guys could be there, we're going to kind of have an open house that first 30 minutes. We're going to utilize the microphone to give the bond update, let each board member give a little short bio, introduce themselves, and then I'm going to go through a few of our slides of the overall presentation on our tax levy, but hopefully, and then more time just for question and answers, mingling, more open house, come and introduce yourself to the board candidates, come and ask questions about tax levy to me. So hopefully we'll get, my goal is I'd love to see 40, 50 community members there, and we're gonna have enough food for over 100. So just trying to spread that word. Dave and I, and then several of you, we've been doing several tax events, just going to different clubs and organizations, meeting. A lot of them are small groups, but that allows for a lot of question and answer, mostly just to the information as to the why we're needing that tax levy, and where we are financially as a school district, as well as just that huge need for that recruitment and retention piece for our staff. So that's been the big push, social media wise, trying to put out the presentations that I've been giving are available on our website in a link, and then I also did a voiceover explaining it like I do in the presentations out in these organizations. We put out a frequently asked question, and then we've got a couple mailers that are going home. So just trying to get the word out of people knowing that when they show up to vote, what's on the ballot, what the difference between a levy and bond is, and then the difference between asking that 70-cent transfer and then that 60-cent increase, and what that bond language looks like. So ultimately, that's kind of been our main focus for the month of March, and the vote is April 8th, and we've got this Friday question and answer sips with the soup at the coffee house. If anybody's available and wants to come, another time, just an opportunity to sit down and ask questions and talk through where we're at as a school district. But the outreach has really been great. Dr. McLean and I have, every time we leave a meeting, said we need to do that more. Like, it shouldn't just be during the levy time that we're out doing those things. We've had great conversations with organizations in our community, just as an opportunity to talk about our schools. We don't just talk about tax levy, but just an opportunity to talk about programs in our schools and needs in our schools and directions that we're trying to go, programming we're trying to add, where we want to be in the next few years. So it's just been really good conversations with people to be able to highlight and share our schools. So we do hope to continue doing that even after the April 8th vote. So it's a lot of good questions. You know, it's a hard sell. 60 cents is hard in today's times, and we know that. We are aware of that, and I've shared with them all the discussions. How many board meetings did we talk about, and even have special board meetings to determine that 40, 50, 60 cent? What was it that we felt comfortable asking, as well as putting it off a year because of where things were with Jackson County and assessed evaluations. So. Again, I just feel like they've been good conversations. I've had people say, I'm sorry, I can't vote for that. And I said, I understand that. My goal is just to educate, to give you, from the school district, just the state of where we are financially and our needs for staff. So we can have those discussions and answer those questions, and that's kind of been the whole purpose behind all the tax levy push that we've been doing the past month. So just wanted to give that update.
And you've done a great job too, how you present the information, what you present, and just how personal you are with all that everyone's been on.
Well, thanks. I mean, I joke that I got into education to love on kids. Being a salesperson is not my thing. And also, I'm always the person that if it came time to any group organization for fundraising to ask people for money, I was always out the door. Like, what can I do behind the scenes? So it's very much outside of my own comfort and my wheelhouse as far as, but I can definitely, it's easy to advocate for our school. It's easy to advocate the needs for our students, and it's easy to advocate the needs for our staff. So that's definitely the focus. But
it's easy to sell something you believe in.
Sure, absolutely. Next is the Consiligo Wellness Center. So you'll see there's a flyer in there for you to look at. Essentially, I was approached by right now for our staff insurance, we work through a broker, and that broker works through various health services to determine how we can get that best rate for health insurance and benefits. And every year it just keeps going up. I think yesterday I got a call from our broker and renewals were at like 15%. I said, nope, try again. Like, that's not okay. We can't afford that. We can't do that. And shared that we're going to have to go out to market. And you never want to go out to market every year, and we haven't gone out in 2 years, but we are going to have to go out to market, explaining the fact that if the tax levy doesn't pass and we're looking at not being able to give raises, I have to be able to offer the most viable health insurance plan at the lowest price tag to the district. And so we are going to have to go out to market, but in that process, I've been approached by area school districts about joining a consortium, and I've looked in the past when we've gone out to market. We worked hard on taking bids from different brokers, and we switched brokers a few years ago. I have looked at various consortiums in my previous school district and while being here at Oak Grove, and there's always pros and cons, and there's always the risks. But this consortium is Smithville, Blue Springs, Green Valley, Fort Osage, and they're really wanting to add Oak Grove, and the risk of this is it's a self-funded plan. And so right now I can see the rates that the other school districts that the other school districts are working through with their direct actuary, and I can see their savings over the years compared to what we're taking in increases at 5-8% every year. They're taking at 2 and 3% every year. So definitely have had conversations. I'm interested in looking at it, but the risk factor of that self-funded, where if something big goes on, that it's our dollar that supports that. That we aren't there financially, we can't do that. So I can't commit to that, and have explained that to this group. But part of their consortium is that they have the CWC, the Wellness Center, and it's in Blue Springs off of 7 Highway between 7 and Woods Chapel. And it is a wellness center only for those school district staff. And when you're a part of that consortium, it's $10 to visit for you or anyone in your family, and they do everything from x-rays, mental health, physical therapy, prescriptions. I mean, it's a full nurses and doctors, and it's a full medical clinic, but only for those school staff. That get you in within 24 hours. They're open before school, after school, and on Saturdays. And the whole idea is that you're in quicker, you're out quicker, and staff aren't missing a lot of school time. They could probably go when they're playing or before and after school, so we're not having to deal with subs. So they have offered to us as a school district, in hopes to trying to get us in the future, that to go ahead and let our district be a part of their wellness center. starting now immediately and running all the way through next school year. And our staff would pay a $40 copay to go, but still it's a smaller group, it can get in quicker, there's just a lot of benefits, it is super close. So Carrie Reinbold and I went and toured it, we looked at it, we met all the staff, and then their board voted to approve our school district not to join their consortium, but just to have access to their wellness center for a year to determine if we like it. So it's a win-win for our staff, to be able to take and get in and within 24 hours notice and get in, and be serviced and at a $40 copay rate. So just kind of wanted to let the board know that we're gonna be offering that free benefit to staff. And of course, there's no strings attached to us having to join that consortium. They just know that I couldn't financially make a commitment to that until we know what happens with tax levy. And do a little more digging, and I need to do a little more research on that self-funded. I've talked to 2 of the 4 school districts in that approach. So I'm excited to offer that to staff, but wanted to get that on your radar before we send it out to staff and start sending them to the wellness center.
Have they ever, or are there groups out there that have joined together to shop? I mean,
Yeah.
as a major event, I mean, that's what the fire department does. The fire department is, Fort Osage, Grant, they all shop their health insurance and even their property
And that's
taxes.
several-
As a bigger group, you get a better rate when
Right.
you bring 1,000 people.
Right.
Now, we bring pretty good number.
We do.
But-
I mean, we're in the low. We're in the about the middle range. I mean, with
Yeah.
250 staff members as a pool. Those are the other consortiums that I've looked at. There are
Yeah.
several. There's 3 or 4 big ones across the state. 4 school educators, different consortiums that I've looked into, and I know schools that have been a part of it and loved it, and it's been successful. And I know schools that went and got out. So there's a variety. I mean, it's a preference. More really, it's just insurance is so hard because of the rates, and that they can just continue to go up. And so, and we may as a district have to make determining what comes out of these bids when we go out to market. We may as a district, we've talked about this in the past, but we may have to put a cap to what we pay. Right now, we pay $747 per employee per month for health and dental. And that's a lot, and it's hard, and as those rates keep going up, at what point do we as a district say, we're gonna cap it at this dollar amount and the rest is on our staff? Because it's hard to budget from year to year when we don't know what those rates go up, but then also, we're talking about trying to recruit teachers, retain teachers. What are other school districts doing? What benefits are they providing? Is it at 100%? So there's a lot that goes into that determination. I know a couple of our school districts in our conference that this year are putting a cap on a dollar amount cap on the insurance that they'll pay, and trying to get plans based around that cap, but probably offering a plan that maybe not be as wholesome at that price, and then offering several more aggressive low deductible buy-up plans. So those are all discussions, and I talked to our broker about continuing to have conversations with additional consortiums. We've had some big medical things the past 3 years that have just continued to make our rates go up. So, I've talked to Dr. Snodgrass at Fort Osage. He's superintendent at Fort Osage, and he's the one that recommended Oak Grove to join this consortium. And so I've talked to him long and hard about how he sets his rates and what the self-funded looks like. I've talked to 2 other brokers on what the self-funded looks like and how it works for a school district. And of all the school districts in this consortium, that risk is always there, but none of them have had to dump into that risk. And so again, yeah, but we could sign up tomorrow. It's no
Looks
different
good
than
till
having car
that.
insurance.
Yeah, it looks good till
The
that.
day that you don't have it, you have an accident,
Yeah.
so there is a risk there, and we are just aren't in a place financially to be able to take that risk right now, but there are some cost savings that could be in the future under a program like this. So all in all, I'm excited to have access to the Wellness Center. I think that it'll be good for us to see how well our staff do like that, and it's just an added perk that we can highlight to our staff that we belong to this Wellness Center that we can send staff and staff kids to.
Just a question about that part itself. So they're gonna offer services more like a general practitioner. If heaven forbid, something
Yeah,
big
something.
came up,
Yeah,
they
they have some testing and blood work that they can do there, but then obviously if it requires a specialist, they're gonna recommend you to a specialist. So this would be more like a general practitioner. There is physical therapy services, mental health services, and then they can do some pathology blood work and things like that.
Yeah.
But
That's okay.
it's you can see it off 7 Highway. It's the old MCC building. It's between Woods Chapel and 7 Highway. You can see it off I-70. It's got a big green awning on the front of it. It's on the north side of I-70. But it's just right there.
So you said it's a $40 copay.
Mhm.
What is the copay?
Depends what plan they're on. And they will take the insurance, but they're just gonna, this will be a $40 pay. Like I can tell you for me, I'm on an HSA. When I go to urgent care, it's $180. But if I go to there, it's gonna be a $40 copay.
So, and that would be the total amount
Hmm?
for general stuff?
For all the general things, unless there's something extra they have to do.
It's a good deal.
Very good.
All right.
Legislative update?
Open enrollment went to vote today. Two of our legislators who told me that they were voting, two of our area representatives that told me they were voting no, both voted yes. That's disappointing. I didn't get a full update of you.
No, I think Brad Pollard, who sponsored the bill now for 4 years in a row, feels he has the votes to get it to the Senate. And I think he probably does, and especially with the urging of the governor in his first State of the State address.
The support.
Yeah, it doesn't look positive, and it's, I mean, it's really frustrating to me because the conversations I had with Jeff and Carolyn, Carolyn's mine, Caton, and of course.
Carolyn voted yes today.
Yeah. Because I don't want to get out in the weeds, but it's just, you know, when I was principal at Oak Grove High School, I met with every new student, and by and large, a vast majority of the students, because I was like, what brings you to Oak Grove? And the schools were, there were some rough situations for some kids, but that was the reason, you know, and that's what I tried to express to them, you know, open enrollment's been around forever. You move to the school you want to go to, you know, and now we're just, and
My big concern with the open enrollment is, just like Senate Bill 727, there's already changes going to be made to it. So even though it's been drafted multiple ways because of hearing the concerns of school districts, it's going to evolve eventually, and those are going to go away. It's also, for me, the manpower of DESE. There's a lot of provisions put on DESE to do. DESE doesn't have the staff or the funding to do the current things that have come down through legislation that they've had to add on to their responsibility levels. I still have great concerns about transportation, that you're supposed to transport within 35 miles to another district. How am I supposed to how can I just automatically now send a bus to Green Valley and a bus to Blue Springs and a bus to Odessa and a bus to Wellington? Like, how can we as a school district afford that, manage that, and have the staffing to hire for that? So the transportation piece is a large concern, and I still think the sped piece is inequitable. I think that it's disability discrimination, and I don't see any way around that piece to open enrollment to where it's currently written for. And I used this example last month. If a student were to want to enroll through open enrollment here who were deaf or hard of hearing, we don't have a deaf or hard of hearing program. The way the bill's written is that I supposedly can tell that family they can't attend here. How is that not disability discrimination? Then I'm saying because you're deaf and hard of hearing, you can't come to Oak Grove.
Well,
so I feel like that's just disability discrimination.
And unfortunately, this is, as I shared with Brad Pollard and with numerous legislators, both ours, that I wish you'd just tell me this. Just tell me, poor kids don't matter, we don't care. We're only interested in rich kids and people with the haves. Because that's really what all of this legislation is. It's about the haves. Because there are people, that's what I tried to say. You know, I said, I grew up with an outhouse. You probably don't know what that means. That's not a house out back. That's no running water in your house. I would have been one of those kids. I was thankful for the opportunity I had. I couldn't have gone to another school if I wanted to. And there's still kids like that. And the kids that's frustrating. Senate Bill 215, it's a nightmare.
Is that property tax?
No, Senate Bill 215 is a open enrollment bill in the Senate.
Okay.
It is a free-for-all. You can trade months, go play football here, basketball there. It supersedes MSHA rules. It is just a nightmare. My concern, my fear, is that the folks in the Senate put this just horrific thing together to try to get some compromise with House Bill 711 and getting some of those pieces brought into it. I'm concerned about that. I mean, thus far, the Senate has been dramatically different. They're not crazy like they were last year. So they're actually passing legislation. So I don't know, I really don't have a good feel. I've gotta think that there's no way that, as written, Senate Bill 215 could pass. I hope.
But don't you think that it's written so poorly so that there'll be more traction on it?
And that's
It's making the other one look good.
Our
the
MRTA's
compromise.
lobbyist, Steve Carroll, and I've talked, and he thinks it's done on purpose. You know, let's throw this monster beast out there and then send this kitty cat in and we'll, you know, and then they'll walk away with a bobcat or something, you know?
Another big concern, Senator Nikolai has a bill on property tax depreciation and freeze.
There are-
And I met with him the other day, it's been a couple of weeks, and shared with him, and I did a fiscal note on that, and it was $840,000 that revenue that we would lose in a single year over that one. And so shared with him those concerns, obviously, and how heavily we rely on local taxes, and when property taxes freeze or property tax depreciations is out until the foundation formula. That was my main, until the foundation formula for public education, the state of Missouri is adapted and changed to not rely heavily on local taxes. We can't be having property tax freezes.
There are
Depreciations.
125 tax bills in the House and Senate currently. And they're all about either reducing personal property tax, autos, things like that, or adjusting the percentages, or real property tax, again, eliminating or adjusting the percentages. I think the elimination of corporate income tax is gonna pass. And
There's also a bill
To eliminate income tax.
remove tax exemptions from public entities. If we had tax exemption removed for us, the amount of money that we would, like, just our bond project alone, the tax exemptions from that, those are hurtful. So there's several, not only just legislation, but an example at meeting today, DESE has our assistant commissioner position, and DESE is open. And it is all on finance. It's the finance manager for the state of Missouri Department of Education. And it has been open, it just rolled open for the third time because no one will apply. And I think it's because everyone is foreshadowing the cuts of public education from the state level, and how do you, as the new assistant commissioner, worried about state funding? Plus the concern with the removal of Department of Ed, and we just got word yesterday, the freeze of USDA funding. So as a school district, we receive USDA funding for that we provide free reduced
Free
meals
reduced
for our
lunches,
kids,
yeah.
but also there's programs through the USDA funding that we can buy product, farm to table, or as an example, that where we go and buy our food, and how we buy our food, how we procure our food at costs that are reasonable so that we can afford to have meals for our schools. And so there's just a lot of legislation and concerns that are focused on education from a federal and a state level, and some of those bills are focusing on local level, that it's just, like, I'm not even sure, even if our tax levy passes, how we create a budget for next year, because I don't know what revenue we're gonna get from state or from federal at all. There's no way to know.
And something I found is staggering I got from Missouri's School Administrators Council, was a national statistics that shows Missouri is dead last, 50th in school funding, no surprise. What shocked me was Missouri is 7th in the nation in local revenue paying for school districts. There are only 6 states besides Missouri that the local school districts are paid more than Missouri. That is scary stuff. That is just, that's frightening. Now, there's some pieces here and there of good
Yeah,
legislation. There is a possibility of raising the bond limit capacity where we could bond more frequently, bond more. There's attendance pieces that could help. There's a calendar fix from the fiasco of Senate Bill 727, you know, and Lincoln Huff on the other side of the budget side, he is the budget chair for Senate, has said, we're in the Senate budget, we're gonna fully fund education, which would mean that the $300 million that Governor Keough said, no, we're not putting in education, he says we are. I think it'll.
The problem is, a lot of times, we as a reminder, we set our budget in June, which we usually have our preliminary budget in March. We're waiting to see what happens April 8th. Then we have, by law, set our budget in June. Senate doesn't usually approve their budget, state doesn't approve.
Well, I think the House doesn't plan on getting their version of the budget done until April. So the Senate won't get that till April, but I mean, it can't be any worse than last year.
Last
Last
year
year,
was-
2 people put that thing together.
And it was late June.
Cody Smith and Lincoln Hunt.
It was past the time that we,
It was
late
like
June
the
or
last
July.
day, May
May.
19th.
Okay.
So, but I think it'll be better than last year, that piece. And I'm hoping, you know, some of the budget things, and I'm hoping the $50 million that Governor Keogh wants for the voucher program won't make that cut either, I hope. Because every dollar, that's 50 million we won't get. Yeah.
It's concerning. For sure. All right.
Lastly, board equalization.
Board of Equalization. So we're tasked as a school board to appoint somebody to represent our school in our school boundaries on Board of Equalization through Jackson County. And we don't need to appoint this person till June, but I wanted to start having this conversation. Deadline is June 10th. So it is somebody who's willing. They serve on a board. I think there's a small pay for it, but essentially, as assessed evaluations come in, they're evaluating. They have to be knowledgeable about market value in our area, combined comps within the area. They have to have real estate experience as a real estate broker, developer, lending officer, home builder, investor, real estate appraiser. And then obviously they have to live in Jackson County, and they cannot be hold any office, elected office. Shall be a resident of the county and cannot hold any other office within the county, state, or school board municipalities. So I just want to put that out there. Please let me know people that you think might be interested, names, so I can reach out to them and see if they're interested in serving. It is a 1-year term. We have to re-put them up every year. We didn't do this last year. My first year in, we did it. And Drew Hudson did it for us. We didn't submit this. I didn't get this form last year, so I'm not sure what happened with Jackson County.
What?
But there's one.
That's their first mess up.
But this year, I did get it, plenty of time, got it in late February, so we need to appoint somebody by June 10th, but the sooner, the easier, the sooner the better. So let me know if you know people who you think might be interested. You can also have a legal background, but they do prefer it to be in real estate legal, if it is, otherwise have some sort of real estate experience. So please just share with me so I can start taking some names, reaching out. They also can't serve in another capacity. The city does have,
Shane Stevens.
Shane Stevens is already serving on behalf of the city, so we couldn't utilize him again. That's all I have.
Next, I'll announce that our next regular meeting date, we'll have a special meeting on March 25th at 5 p.m. for approval of the construction bids. That is an open meeting. And then our regular monthly meeting will be held on April 16th. Because of how we have to reorganize after the election, that'll be the reorganization in our regular monthly meeting on April 16th. So that'll be it. Seeing nothing else on the agenda, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Jim, thank you, Terry. All in favor? That's everyone. Thank you all for being here.
We have plenty of cookies up here. If anybody wants a cookie, Opa, thank you for
Mashed
cookies.
potatoes.
No baked cookies.